18 years is extremely long time for a vehicle's life cycle, especially nowadays. So it was really very important for Honda to rebuild its flagship motorcycle, the Honda GoldWing, because it lived for 18 years, and the rivals really passed this model in the top category. So Honda had to make a very big boom with this motorbike to go after them or overtake them. If it was successful or not, we will find out now. The whole silhouette, the face, the lines, the flat 6-cylinder boxer engine are all parts or pieces which identify the model. So it's, for the first sight, it's absolutely sure that this is a Honda GoldWing. But the whole bike, from the first screw to the last one, was completely redesigned, replanned and rebuilt. Everything is different than the previous model. So we really have to find out the technical parameters and in real riding circumstances, how much is it different from the previous model. The bike has 3 different versions. The basic model is simply called GoldWing. It has a lower windshield and it doesn't have a top case. The GoldWing Tour has the higher windshield and the top case. And for the Tour model, you can order airbag and the double clutch transmission as well. And with these 2 things, it becomes the top model in the line. And this is the bike we can have a review about now. The engine capacity is also 1.8 liters, exactly 1,833 cubic centimeters, but the whole engine is totally new. It's shorter and much lighter than the previous one, and on top of all this, also stronger, because at the moment this is 126.5 brake horsepower, and the torque is, which is much more important for touring, is 170 Newton meters, and it means that this bike is really usable from very low revs, very smoothly, and this is really the proper thing for long tourings, which is totally different from anything what Honda produced before, is the front suspension, because it's a double Hossack system, which is, we can say that similar to BMW's duo lever, but it is not copied from that. So don't believe that Honda just made a copy of BMW, because it's a totally different thing, or not totally, but in many parts different thing. So it can be seen that it was designed starting from a white paper. The wheel has an angle, and the steering bar's angle is much behind that. So there are 2 connection bars which are connecting them, and this is really a unique thing as it is working, and which is also very funny when the first wheel is moving, these 2 parts are always moving up and down, and when riding you can see that how the first wheel is moving. And what is also very important, that the first spring unit is put very much behind, somewhere in this line, so it's even behind the steering bar's line. The rear suspension is not as revolutionary as the front one. It's a ProLink system, but it's also redesigned. The central unit is under the motorbike. You really have to go under the whole vehicle to see it. All the suspension, all of its parameters can be changed, but you don't go after the screwdriver, because we can make everything electronically from the menu. We are going to go back to this theme. The engineers try to put the maximum into the brake system as well. In the front we have 2 brake discs, 320 millimeters both of them, and we have 6 cylinder calipers on both sides, so extremely powerful. In the rear we have a 311 millimeter brake disc, with a 3-piston caliper, and there in the DCT version we also have a fixing brake. We are going to speak one sentence later about. The whole brake system is full combined, so it means that from the handbrake we brake both the brakes and from the foot brake also, but I think I didn't find real parameters about it, but as I feel the brake separation, the brake power separation is absolutely controlled by a computer or algorithms, because it's really working properly. If we are braking only with the handbrake, we can really feel that the back part of the bike is sitting down, and when we are especially at narrow turns or U-turns, when we use only the foot brake, then we can feel that the first part is also slowed down, but it's not disturbing very much. And if we are using only the foot brake for emergency braking, then the brake distance is much shorter than at a system which is braking only the rear one in these occasions. Although the optics of the motorbike shows a smaller vehicle, but it's a very big one. Only the wheelbase is 1695 millimeters, so it's a long bike. The seat height is 785 millimeters, and even in this narrowest part is pretty wide, but anyhow it's going to be good for shorter riders as well. When we sit on it we have to take care, because this part of the passengers area is a little bit in the way of our right foot, so we have to be pretty flexible to sit on it. And when we are sitting it, you can feel that this is comfortable even for me. I'm pretty tall, 190 centimeters with very long legs, but this is absolutely comfortable. I have to say that much more comfortable than the previous GoldWing, because there my lower back started to ache pretty much after 100-150 kilometers. I have already ridden much more with this one, and it's still extremely comfortable, because the steering bar's position is pretty close and pretty high, and it's really a very good seat position. The passengers place, I think it's not improved too much related to the previous models, as they were also the top in the world. As the new GoldWing is a totally modern motorbike, it doesn't have a typical ignition and a key. It has only a signal box which I put in my pocket, and then if I turn this button, then it's already on ignition, and I can start the beautiful sounding engine I just show you. Extremely nice voice. It has a fixing brake. I can release it here, and the bike also has a reverse. If I put it into neutral, pull the handbrake and push one button, then it changes to reverse, and if I push the down changing gear button, then it starts to go backwards. When I stopped, I can put it back on the same way, put to D, and we can start riding. The new GoldWing has a very big and color central display, and we can cover all the menu from there. We can use this part when we are in standstill position, and on the left handlebar the same buttons we have, and we can reach all the functions from here with our left thumb, so it's really very easy. I just finished this roundabout and then I'm going to show you. So we have the central menu. Here you can see everything in Hungarian, so the audio, the setup of the vehicle. For example, here in this point, which I can reach only in standstill position again, I can change the preload of the whole suspension to one person and package, two person and package, and here in the left corner you can see what I have fixed for my body weight. One person and package is necessary. Of course I can switch on the grip heating, the seat heating, everything here. As it is absolutely summer in Hungary, I switch both of them off very quickly. So we can go on to the navigation, to the audio setup, and to the telephone function. The audio is very nice, but the sound of the GoldWing, as I have already mentioned, is so beautiful that after a short trying and after realizing that I can clearly hear the music in helmet even at 160 kilometers per hour, I switched off the audio and I was listening only to the 6-cylinder boxer engine's sound, because it's really very nice. So in the biggest part of the test road or riding, I was using the navigation system. The bike itself has got a very clever dashboard computer. It knows everything what is necessary, and there is one more very important thing we have to speak about, is the modes, or I mean are the modes, because the bike has an ride-by-wire system, so an electric throttle, and here on the right side we have one button with which we can change from the 4 factory modes. We have the tour mode, which is for everyday touring use. We have the sport mode, where the RPMs are higher, the bike is accelerating much better, the revs are going to higher, etc. We have the economy mode, where the RPMs are going down very quickly when just normal cruising, even until 1500, and as you can see we are already in 7th gear, but even at 1500 the bike is powerful enough for normal cruising or riding. So if we are not in a hurry, it's absolutely enough to use it in econ mode. And we have the rain mode. The 4 modes are differing in, for example, that everything is changing. The traction control, the throttle response, and even the suspension is changing, because the preload can be changed in standstill position from the central menu, but when we are changing the 4 different modes, then the other habits of the suspension are always changing, so softer or more sporty and things like this. So the whole bike is really changing when we are changing the modes. And one more thing I would like to show you very much is this part of the suspension, because as I have already mentioned, these 2 connecting rods are always moving up and down when we are riding the bike, so you can see how the whole suspension is working. For example, it's very good seeable when I'm using the brake a little bit. Just have a look at it, how is it working. As the new GoldWing is the flagship model of Honda, of course the whole lighting system is fully a LED system. The normal lights, the high beams, and we also have position lights, yellow color, in the mirror houses. What I can say after today's miles or kilometers, that the bike can be seen very well. I was riding another motorbike while this one with another rider was following me, so in the mirror it's very easy and very good to see this motorbike. And I also had some proofs that for example, when a car coming to the front of me started to overtake, the driver really kicked the brake pedal and went back behind the truck he was trying to overtake, because the lightness of the GoldWing is really very good. As the Honda GoldWing is the king of the touring motorbikes, or queen of it, it's a question of point of view. Of course it has 3 boxes. As the whole motorbike is also smaller than the previous model, so it's much less big at the first point of view. Also the boxes are much smaller. For example, the side boxes are opening until this part, and my backpack is nearly making full one of them. The same t-shirts, very thin and not textile t-shirts, so synthetic t-shirts. From these I could put 27 pieces to the other side case, and it was also close to full. And for example, the top case, which is belonging only the tour models, according to the company's press material, it's enough for 2 helmets. I don't know how, honestly, because I am wearing this BMW Enduro Carbon helmet at the moment. This only one helmet, if I put it in, I cannot close the top of the top case. So Now it's approximately half full with only my laptop. I think that an average American or European, let's say, couple, a man and his wife, are not going to be able to go for a really long journey with these capacities, so they will have to reduce their wishes. Beside the front suspension and a lot of other things I have already mentioned, maybe the biggest improvement is the weight of the motorbike, because related to the previous 1800 cubic centimeter model, this is with the same building 48 kilograms lower. 48 kilograms is extremely much. This model, which has a double clutch transmission and airbag and everything, so this is the top model in the GoldWing family at the moment. It is 383 kilograms, and it, of course, it's much lighter, but it also means that if once this bike is starting to roll to its side, then it's going to lean down. So that's why the engineers put some protection parts here and here as well, that if you cannot keep it, then you don't damage the box and the engine and things like this, but these parts are going to save the painted areas, for example. All in all, finishing the review, we have to say, or we can say, that the new Honda GoldWing is the best GoldWing so far. Much better than the previous 1800 model. And I am not brave enough to say that this is the best in its class, because the K1600 GTL and the big Harleys and the big Indians are very strong rivals. So one thing is sure, that if somebody is searching for a new bike in this category, he or she is not going to say that I am buying a GoldWing only because this is a Honda. With the previous model, this was the situation in the last few years. Now this is a very strong rival for all the other bikes. Really the best GoldWing ever. Please push a like on the video, subscribe for our channels to watch the latest reviews of Onroad, and watch our previous films as well. Thank you very much.